Welcome back everyone to Searching for Faith. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about my journey to discover not only my what I believe, but also my why. So I hope that you find this a safe and non-judgmental zone where we can all come together and be on this journey together as we rediscover our faith. So if you'd like to come along with me on this journey, please hit that subscribe button. I am so thankful for everyone that has subscribed to the channel so far. As of when this video is being filmed, we are at about 104 subscribers. So for every single one of you who has found my channel and watched any of my videos, I am so incredibly thankful for you that you would like to be on this journey with me and be part of this community. So I am just so thankful for you. So today's video, we are going to, in honor of St. Valentine, talk about my Christian dating story, as well as my tips for a healthy, happy, and long marriage. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to go into too much detail about my dating story. Basically, I didn't date a lot before I got married. I did have a sort of boyfriend in high school, which consisted of me just hanging out at his house while he played video games, or us talking on the phone where I did most of the talking while he played video games. It was a very one-sided relationship, but it never wasn't physical in any way. Like, we never even held hands, let alone kiss. I was raised, as you know, very conservatively Christian, and I was extremely shy around boys. I very easily was either afraid of boys or crushed on them, instantly. It was almost like I couldn't be friends with a boy without crushing on them, the first 20 years, of my life. Once I started liking boys, which for girls is 4th or 5th grade, I just didn't have a healthy relationship with being friends with boys. And I just didn't have I didn't have any guy friends that I didn't think of in a crush or romantic way until I was in college. I had the same crush on the same boy from 7th grade until my senior year of high school. And I had the same celebrity crush all those years as well. Joshua Jackson. You're never going to watch this video, but thank you, Joshua Jackson. You will always be both my Charlie and my Pacey. Thank you for the years you gave me. If you guys understand those references, let me know in the comment section below. If you were a preteen teen girl in the 90s and you were obsessed with your Teen Bop magazines and had cut out posters from those magazines on your walls, let me know in the comment section below if you're with me on that one. But yeah, so I was raised very conservatively Christian and was very insecure and just didn't even know really how to interact with guys without making it something that it wasn't, if that makes any sense. I did start having guy friends in college, so much so that by my senior year of college, most of my close friends were guys, which was just insane to me. I remember when I went home for my 22nd birthday, my senior year of college, I brought 12 friends home with me that year. And 11 out of those 12 friends were guys. I think I only brought 1, maybe 2 girls home with me. I feel like that visit, it was only 1 girl that came home with me, and the rest were guys. I'm actually gonna give you guys a little picture right here of me and most of my guy friends that has 1 or 2 other girls in the photo. The boy standing, I think, on my left in that picture is the one with the long hippie hair, is my future husband. And what was funny is that, I told you, I would meet a guy and instantly crush on the guy, right? It's I almost couldn't meet a guy and not crush on him. But my future husband is the one guy that I never crushed on. We were purely just friends. And after I graduated from college, and I moved home, I started driving back up to my college hometown, which was a couple of hours away, to still hang out with friends that lived in the area of where my college was. I went to a small Christian college where we had 11:30 curfew on weeknights and a, 1 a.m. curfew on the weekends. And we had like Wednesday night chapels and Friday convocations, and I was a ministry major, so I also had a Tuesday chapel. Like I said, I lived in dorms that were not co-ed, like same-sex dorms, and very structured Christian private college. So that was where I met my husband. Like I said, we were just friends, and I never thought of him in that way. But when I started driving back up to my college town to hang out with my friends that still lived in the area on the weekends, me and my now husband started hanging out again and becoming really close friends. And I keep hitting the couch. I'm gonna try not to do that, y'all. Hanging out with my husband again. And we started spending a lot of time together, and we got close, and he started liking me before I started liking him, but I didn't know he liked me. I still remember we were at my friend's house, and we went into my friend's like basement to watch a movie, and I remember I was probably flirting but didn't know I was flirting because I didn't even know how to flirt. Like, I was just like so incredibly awkward. I didn't even know what flirting was. So if I was flirting, I didn't know I was, but I think I was now. This is so embarrassing to tell you guys all this. And I remember putting my legs like he was sitting on the couch and I was sitting like long ways next to him, and we were watching To Catch a Thief, which we like, even though we haven't seen the movie in 1,000 years, but in our early years of our marriage, we used to think of it as like our movie, because it was the first movie we watched together like that. And I remember my feet were cold, and I stuck my feet like up underneath like his thighs. It was like our first like touching in any way, and we weren't even dating then, like we were still just friends. And I think that was like the beginning of what happened later. But yeah, so we just started talking and then emailing and then talking on the phone. And I remember thinking, does he like me? And my friend, one of my close friends, being like, oh, I think he's just wants a friend. He probably doesn't like you like that. So the point where like when he finally asked me out, I didn't even know he was asking me out, because he asked me to go to the symphony. But then he told me how much the tickets to the symphony cost. So I thought, because he was telling me how much the tickets cost, that I was gonna have to pay for my own ticket, and that we were just going as friends. And it was like so awkward. And I remember my friend telling me, whatever you do, don't ask him if it's a date. And that was like one of the first things that I did on our date. I was like, okay, I hate to ask this, but is this a date? And we had a very, very awkward, like, first hour or so of our date, where we confirmed that we were on a date, and we both wanted to be on a date, and that we did actually like each other. Which I feel like when we get to the tips later, like, is a sign of a healthy marriage, is being honest and communicating. We're gonna get that in a second. But yeah, so we laid it all out. We were honest to each other from the very beginning, and started dating. And we only dated for a year and a day before our wedding day. We literally got married a year and a day after our first date. Our first date was on the 17th of November, and we got married on the 18th of November. And yeah, we had a very short engagement. We dated for about 8 months, and then he proposed over the summer, and then we got married in the fall. We literally had a 4-month engagement. I do recommend, if you are a Christian who does want to wait until you're married to be intimate, that shorter engagements, the better. No point in drawing it out. We didn't have a lot of money, so we did have a very small wedding. I think my dad gave me about $3,000. Now, this was 17 years ago, but we were able to have like a decent wedding. I will show you a couple of pictures here of what our wedding looks like, but we did get married about a year and a day after our wedding. We went to St. Augustine on our honeymoon. but yeah, and we were both virgins when we got married. This is a very probably more like G-rated video, so I'm not going to get into all of that detail, but just so that you're aware. I'm not saying that it matters necessarily when you find the right person, and I don't think that should be something that, as like, now if you're like a young Christian girl and that's something that matters to you and you want to pray for that, but at the same time, I don't think it should be like a break it necessarily. But that would be like a whole other conversation, so we're not even going to get into that. But the point is that no judgment or no expectations or anything like that towards people that didn't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That everybody has their different story and their different life, but like I said, we were both raised very, very conservative Christian. My husband was actually homeschooled, and we were just raised very like small. Sorry, I live in the city, so you're gonna hear sounds sometimes, city sounds sometimes. But yeah, just very small world, very conservative, very highly focused on purity culture when we were growing up. So there was no question of whether you were gonna wait or not. Like, it was gonna happen. But I honestly feel like, I always joke about this because I was such a dork in high school. I mean, I didn't date because nobody ever asked me out. Like, everybody knew I was Christian, and I was just I was chubby then. I was very, very insecure about how I looked and about my body, and I just had no confidence in myself whatsoever. And everybody knew, like, I always make a joke because, you know, like, when I was a kid, that, you know, the big thing, anti-drug movement was just say no, right? And I'm like, I never had the opportunity to say no because nobody ever asked me. Nobody ever offered me anything. Nobody asked me on a date. Nobody asked me to parties. Like, I was the dorky girl playing board games with her parents on the weekends. I was the dorky girl, you know, hanging out with her cousin and her one friend. And, you know, like, I didn't hang out. I didn't go to parties. I didn't do things in high school. I was very, very sheltered. So there was no question about whether or not I was going to wait. But I am thankful that I waited, and that it's not so much that I'm thankful that I waited, but that I'm thankful that I waited for my husband and that we were each other's first. He was also my first kiss, if that shows you how sheltered I was. We did not wait till our wedding day, though, to kiss. There's this, like, horrible movie that a friend had me watch called Hannah's Prayer, I think it is. If I can try to find it, I'll maybe put, like, an image right here. And the whole movie is about how this girl's, like, dad prays for her first kiss to be with her husband. And it's kind of hilarious if you watch it. But the girl's first kiss is on her wedding day. And then she literally, on her honeymoon night, calls her dad, and her dad prays for her on her honeymoon night. And I'm like, no, I am not calling my parents on the night of my honeymoon. Oh my gosh, I would die. Okay, but yeah, so our first kiss was not on our wedding day. But yeah, so we got married, and we have been married for 17 years, about 17 and a half at this point. And we are still happy and in love, very much so. And so now we're going to get into my tips for how to have a happy, healthy marriage. Some of these we got when we were going through marriage counseling, and some of these I obviously just kind of learned through experience. But yeah, so let's get into them. Okay, so the first one is kind of, I guess, maybe obvious, and hopefully not overrated in any way, but the love languages, y'all, are really, really important. Like, they're real. Like, if you've never read the Love Languages book, I can't remember the person's name that developed them, but I highly recommend the book. I highly recommend taking a quiz. I'm figuring out like what your love languages are, but I'm going to give you guys as like a reference. Here is my love languages. Let's compare mine to my husband's. Do you see anything jumping out at you in these two lists? My top two are my husband's bottom two, and my bottom two are my husband's top two. Yeah. So the love languages are really important because it's all about like how you not only express love to other people, but also how you like to receive love. So for me, my top two are physical touch and then giving and receiving of gifts. So for me, it's all about touch. It's all about PDA. It's not just a physical intimacy thing. It is holding, you know, it's not just the S word. Intimacy, like I said, I'm trying to keep this G-rated, but it could be holding hands. It could be him running his hands through my hair, touching my face, putting his arm around me, cuddling. Like it could literally be just any kind of touch, is a way that I receive and show love to other people. And then my second one is giving and receiving gifts, which I was like, gosh, my love languages make me sound so superficial. But another way that I show love is that I love giving gifts to people, and I love watching people open the gifts that I give them. And I put lots of thought into what I give to people. I want what I give to people to be meaningful. And so like something that I do on a regular basis is maybe writing a little love note to my husband, or buying him something special that I put lots of thought into. And when I get a gift from somebody, like it's not about the monetary value. It's not about how nice it is or how fancy it is. It's how much thought they put into it. So I would rather, like I hate gift cards. I'm never gonna give a gift card, and I'm never gonna, I would hate to receive a gift card. Some people have a really, really hard time with that though. But like I would rather get like a note that says a day of shopping together than a gift card to a shop, if that makes sense. Like instead of giving me a gift card to the mall, say you're gonna spend a day with me and you can buy me a new outfit at the mall if you want to, but I'd rather you say, you know, here's a gift of time than say, here's a gift card. Or think like, oh, I'd rather you think about like something that you really think I like a book or whatever, than give me a gift card to a bookstore. You know what I mean? So those are like my top two. But my bottom two are time and acts of service. So the 5 love languages are, I'm just giving you my list so you guys see it: physical touch, giving and receiving of gifts, words of affirmation, like saying, I love you, you're strong, you're a caregiver, like, you're so smart, I'm so thankful for you, like, reassuring them with your words. Quality time, like actually spending time together, like having experiences and spending time together. And then acts of service, which is dead last for me, is things like taking out the trash and doing the dishes and you know, all that kind of stuff. So those are the 5 love languages. So mine in order, of course, are physical touch, gifts, giving and receiving of gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, and then acts of service are dead last for me. My husband's are quality time are number 1, then acts of service are number 2, words of affirmation are number 3, physical touch is number 4, and giving or receiving a gift is dead last for him. So we are like kind of unbalanced there. So the thing about love languages is that you have to not only be like, okay, you need to accept that this is how I show you love so that you know I am showing you love, but you also need to realize what their top 2 are. So like to my husband, his top 2 are quality time and acts of service. So I know that me helping him out by walking the dog, or me helping him out by cooking him dinner, or me helping him out by, he's a total neat freak and I'm not. I'm ADHD. I can't remember if I told you guys that before, but he's a neat freak and I'm ADHD. So we're also like opposites in that way. But me trying to remember to declutter or keep the table cleared off or whatever is me being selfless and remembering that this is how he's going to know that I love him, by doing this. And another way he's going to know that I love him is by spending time together. Like, we do things together. We go to a coffee shop and sit and just hang out together. We go out to meals. We walk the dog, go for a walk and walk the dog together. We, right now we have a season pass to the zoo, so we go spend a day at the zoo together. Like, just doing things. Like, we like to just go to bookstores and walk around and then sit and have a cup of coffee together. He does the grocery shopping with me. That's not something he's like. There are no gender roles in our marriage. I cook, he does the dishes. I mop, he vacuums. Like, it's almost like all of the home activities are like split in two. And it's not like, okay, you're the woman, you have to do blah, blah, blah. We do our own laundry, and then we take turns doing things like towels and sheets. So like, I do my clothes and he does his clothes. I do the budget and the bill pay, and he helps me when it comes to like, gathering all the paperwork for tax season. So like, we kind of split the duties. And it's never like, well, I'm the woman, so this is my chore list, and you're the man, so this is my chore list. Also helps that we don't have a house, so he hated yard work when we had a house. With a vengeance, he hated yard work. And he gets poison ivy or poison oak just by looking at it. So he is very thankful that we live in a city apartment and do not have any yard work to do anymore. I swear, if we ever bought a house again, he would probably hire somebody to do the yard work. Like, that's how much he hates it. But we do not go by gender roles at all. Like, everything is the partnership, and it is split. But I need to remember that I need to spend time with him, that I need to show him that I love him by making sure things are uncluttered, or doing my part in cleaning this or cleaning that, like, or doing something without him asking, so that he knows that I love him. And then he, in turn, tries to make sure that because he's not big on PDA. Like, PDA is really hard for him. That he tries to remember that and holds my hand in public, or puts his arm around me, or hugs me every morning before I leave, or as soon as I get home. He's still working when I get home because he works from home. And he'll come out and hug me every time I come home. When I say I love you, he says I love you back, and vice versa. So knowing what your love languages are, knowing what your spouse's love languages are, and balancing that, and being understanding of what's important to your loved one, to your spouse, and reciprocating it, and them the same with you, if that makes sense. So those are some of the things. And then thinking about all those love languages, like all those different ways of showing love, making sure you're doing all those things, that you are, like, a big one is being intimate. And like I said, it's not just about the S word. It's not just about that physical intimacy. Although that is important, and I think that it's really important to be doing that regularly. But in addition to that, making sure that you are touching each other, that you're holding hands, that you're cuddling, that you're physically touching in some way. That's like really important. But also emotional intimacy is really important. So the other big one for me is communication. I just think so many marriages would probably be saved if they just talk to each other. Like, the day you stop talking is the day your marriage starts falling apart. So you need to talk on a regular basis about everything, about the little things, about the big things, about how you're feeling. The other one is, this is an age-old saying, but don't let the sun go down on your anger. And that's really important. Like, if we have a fight, no matter how upset I am, because I'm definitely the kind of a really dramatic person that runs into the bedroom, slams the door, throws myself on my bed like I did when I was 12, and cry my eyes out. And I'm always like in my brain thinking, he's got to apologize first. Like, I always think that first. But then I remind myself that no, I need to be selfless and realize that it may be hard for him, and remember that I may be at fault too, that arguments are two-sided, that it's all just one person, and try to see from their point of view and reconcile. And try to reconcile right away. Don't let it just fizzle away. It never really goes away. It festers. So confront it, talk about it, talk through it, communication is very, very key. I think that's kind of it. Like I said, say I love you and say it often. Don't assume they know. Don't be like, well, I'm here so they know I love them. We're still married so they know I love them. Say it out loud and say it back. It's very, very important. And this is another one that we've held to, but I'm not going to judge people that don't do this because we don't have children. But our marriage counselors told us to never put a TV in the bedroom, that the bedroom is a sacred, beautiful place, and to never put a television in the bedroom. And we've never done that. But I will say that I am not going to judge people that do, especially people with kids. I mean, I know my sister has a television in her bedroom and she's got 3 kids. For some people, especially people with children, having a TV in your bedroom is like one of the only respites you get. So I'm not going to judge people who do that. But especially when you're early in your marriage or before you have children, or if you don't have children, I highly recommend following that rule and not putting a television in your bedroom. Like I said, no judgment if you do. But yeah, so those are all of my tips for happy, healthy, long marriage. And me and my husband truly are like, I hate being apart from him for very long, like a week at the most, and I get antsy and need to see him again. I want to be with him all the time. I'm genuinely in love with him. I'm still genuinely attracted to him. Like, he's my best friend. And I really do think that's part of it. Like, for those of you who are like young and single and are like, oh, I just want to meet somebody, I want to fall in love, don't rush it. I mean, a lot of people say when you stop thinking about it or worrying about it, that's when you're going to meet somebody. And I don't want to say that's true, because people telling me advice like that, especially when I was single, drove me up the wall. And I'm like, easier said than done, right? But it was true. Like, the moment I stopped caring about meeting somebody was when my husband happened, you know? And confidence is attractive. So, like, learning to love myself first. I think that's really important. Learn to love yourself first and accept God's love for you. Having some confidence in myself is also attractive, and that really helps. And meeting people organically. Like, I feel for the people that are on dating sites these days, but go to church, do social gatherings, get out there, meet people in an organic, face-to-face, real way, make connections, make friends. Because I really feel like friendship is also a really good foundation for a healthy marriage as well. Like, you should be friends first. But you shouldn't be only friends. Like, as if you're not talking to each other and you're not being intimate, then all you are is glorified roommates, friends that live together. So make sure you're communicating, make sure you're being intimate both physically and emotionally, and you understand how your spouse connects, how your spouse shows love, and be selfless. Don't be selfish and think only of yourself. Think of them and how they need to receive and show love, and them to you as well. And when you're both doing that, you are going to have a healthy, happy marriage that will stand the test of time. So, and me and my husband, we haven't had it easy. I say we haven't had kids, but so we don't have the stress of children, but we've had the stress of financial stresses, especially earlier in our marriage. We have had the stress of dealing with the heartbreak of infertility, and of dealing with loss, because we've had miscarriages. So we've had a lot of heartbreak and difficulties. Our marriage has not been without its problems and without its ups and downs. But like I said, if you're friends first, if you communicate, if you keep the intimacy, I really truly believe that you will stand the test of time. So that is just my 2 cents on how to have a healthy and happy marriage. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's almost a little embarrassing to share some of this. So Let me know in the comment section below if you like this particular video. I'm going to be doing every other week like hot topics and just like information and like sharing little tidbits about my experiences in my life and things like that along the way. So if there are any topics that you would like me to cover, please let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here, and have a happy Valentine's Day. I think this is going to be the Sunday after Valentine's Day, so I hope you had a happy Valentine's Day. Whether you're celebrating more of like a Galentine's Day, just you and your girls, or if you're celebrating it with a loved one or a spouse, then I hope you had a happy one. And I wish you all the best, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.